Roush Fenway team, which is a world-class team, gives us a great opportunity at 13. We haven't won this championship, so you got to keep changing until you get there.
Well, and Roger said it right there. I think that makes a huge statement. He has had drivers in this circuit since 1972. Full time starting in 1991 with Rusty Wallace. He's won 70-run races. He's won the Daytona 500, Darrell, but still has not won a Sprint Cup Series championship.
They're out on an island by themselves. It's basically two cars. Roger Penske's two cars. Dodge doesn't have any other teams to share information with like the other manufacturers do.
Now, Penske ran Fords from 1994 to 2002. His first driver in the Sprint Cup Series, Mark Donohue. They did get a win with American Motors on the road course, but have run with virtually all the different manufacturers in the time since.
And there was a time when I thought maybe being out there on that island by yourself was an advantage, but I think it's caught up with them. They just don't have the resources of teammates and other teams.
Now Dodge will continue as we look at race leader Jimmy Johnson and Chevrolet. Next week at Las Vegas, Dodge will introduce their 2013 Sprint Cup Dodge Charger. The photos I've seen, it looks just like the street car. It's going to be quite a look. The gap now 3.4. Jimmy Johnson stretching it out on Kyle Busch as Kyle works a little bit of race traffic, moving past Mike Bliss, trying to there in the 32. And Matt Kenseth remains just about 5 seconds back in third.
And that's a backup car. I mean, they had to get a backup car off. The 17 did, but it didn't slow them down one bit. They qualified pretty well, and here they are racing right at the front.
Denny Hamlin in 11 cars, started back in the 13th position, then right up there in the top 5 for a number of laps, running 4th right now.
And Hamlin is off to a pretty solid start. Got a 4th place finish last Monday night at Daytona. Team looks like it's really gelling good. He and Darian Grubb, they're really working well together, and Hamlin has got a really good attitude right now about this season.
Kevin Harvick 6.5 back, and Tony Stewart 8.5 seconds back. Stewart running in 6th. He started from the outside pole today. And at 107 laps, Mark Martin, the pole sitter, in 7th place. Steve, 10 seconds off the lead.
Mike, when he stopped on lap number 60 with a caution flew, Mark's comment was, I need more front grip in this race car. To effect that change, they took some air out of the right front tire, and he's been able to make up a few positions, as you said, running 7th.
And it's sort of a balancing act. You would like to run some tape on the grill, on the nose of the car, to plant that nose and get that front end to turn better, but you can't. It's too hot. So you got to take all the tape off the grill, off the brake ducts, got to have all the air going into the car that you can. That's conducive to aero push.
Pretty impressed with Kurt Busch. Yeah, he lost some positions when he changed his 2 tires versus 4 tires, but he has settled into the top 10 in 8th.
Brad Keselowski, first Dodge in the race at night, then Juan Pablo Montoya coming off that bizarre accident at Daytona under caution in 10th, with Jeff Gordon breathing down his neck. 109 laps complete as Jimmy Johnson pads his all-time lap lead at Phoenix.
All your questions will be answered right here on Fox.
112 laps complete in the Subway Fresh Fit 500. Kyle Busch wins the race off pit road under caution. Casey Mears in the Geico number 13 running 27th. Last car on the lead lap is okay after a big hit with the turn 1 wall. Look at him just in front of the onboard camera on Casey Kane's number 5.
We actually are racing Landon Castle in the 83, though. He's on our lap. That's out there. Stay low, come on. You're all clear.
Mike, that had the appearance of too much rear brake. Got down in the corner, got on the brakes, locked up the rear maybe a little bit.
And Darrell, that's what a driver will go to. He has those 2 systems, front and rear. If maybe the car's not turning under braking, he can put a little bit of rear brake into it.
Yeah, and if you're having a brake problem, you can dial a little to the rear, try to help that. Look like it may had too much. That's just how it looked.
Casey is okay, but the Geico Ford will be hauled back to the garage.
That brake just freaking went to the floor. Major damage. Go to garage, guys.
You say the brake pedal went to the floor?
Yeah, that's what it looked like he was having brake trouble. And when you'll start to dial some rear end to take some heat off the fronts. And it looked like it locked up the rears.
The speeds you run here that you carry off in the corner, you use a tremendous amount of brake into these fairly flat corners.
Third caution flag of the day. There is Dave Blaney. He gets our Aaron's lucky dog. And we'll be back on the lead lap when we go back to green. You don't need credit. All you need is Aaron's. Let's catch up on the pit stops, beginning with Steve.
Mike, 48 car takes 4 tires, a small chassis adjustment. They raised the Panhard bar on the right rear of that number 48 car. Jimmy's saying the car was just a little bit snug. Chad Knaus looked at the tires that came off the car and said they look great. Matt Yoakum.
Steve, crew chief Dave Rogers' stopwatch told him that Kyle Busch was getting beat by the 48 of Jimmy Johnson down in turns 3 and 4. Now they went for 2 tires on this stop, left side tires for the 18. He says he's right on the fence of one way or the other being too tight or too free. Krista?
The Daytona 500 champion said his car was getting more free as the run went on, but he said he needed some turnability in the center and needed the front end to stick. If you're crew chief Jimmy Fennick, how do you make that happen? With air pressure. Also 4 tire change for Matt Kenseth. Dick?
Well, Carl Edwards started in the 24th position. You might have thought he was going to do a whole lot better than that since he finished second here on this newly reconfigured track last fall. But he has run in the 20s all day long. They're trying to get the chassis to where the car is going to behave the way Edwards wanted it. They did make an adjustment and took 4 tires on the last stop.
Thanks, Dick. That catches you up on pit stops. But for Ryan Newman, who started 6th in a backup car after a practice crash, NASCAR has said that Newman's crew removed equipment from the pit box. He was running 12th. He'll restart tail end.
That's one of the risks you run when you change just 2 tires, because the pit crew gets done so quickly. If they're making a chassis adjustment, a lot of times they'll leave one of those wrenches stuck down in the back window. I like the strategy of Kyle Busch in the 18 car. Left side tires. That won the race yesterday. It won the race here last fall in the Saturday race. So this is going to be an interesting experiment for the 18.
Let's take an inside look at what's happening in the NASCAR Sprint Cup Series, brought to you by Sprint. You'll look at most laps led and the biggest mover in today's race. Get unlimited access to the NASCAR Sprint Cup Series with live in-car audio and real-time stats only on the Sprint Network, the only national carrier with truly unlimited data. Learn more at sprint.com/speed. Dave Blaney got the free pass. He'll be the 27th car on the lead lap as we go back to green. 115 of 312 complete. 116 this time by. 1 to go. We go back to green. Kyle Busch first on the list of our Toyota top performers. Pole sitter Mark Martin 5th, Denny Hamlin 7th, and Joey Logano 11th. Martin Truex 13th.
It's going to be a fun restart right here. Got some good fast cars there to challenge Jimmy Johnson. See how this works out.
Kevin Harvick in that 29 car, his team elected to change just left side tires as well, just like Kyle Busch's crew.
They learned that yesterday. That was a winning secret yesterday. We'll see how it works out today. These cars got a whole lot more power than the cars yesterday did.
Casey Mears' car headed for the hauler as we get ready to go green, and we'll crank it up for you on this restart. Kyle Busch, Kevin Harvick side by side for third. Keselowski on the outside.